What a beautiful day it is in the woods of Michigan today. 35 degrees, light breeze, sun is shining. Gonna put in a mile or two. So you hear a lot of people in the survival community talk about the essentials of survival, or what they put in their kits. And of course kits are going to vary depending on geographic region, depending on time of year. It's just getting to the end of winter here in Michigan, and so it's cold, so obviously you want to prepare for that. But there's a certain set of items that I carry no matter what. For the videos I do, I'm out in the woods almost every day, and unfortunately I live in an apartment right now, so I can't just step off my back porch into the woods. I have to travel to the woods, I have to walk in the woods, and so I'm not only away from my home, but I'm away from the car. Generally I'm half mile to a mile in on a trail, so things can and do happen. So obviously you want to prepare for any situation that you're going to be in and have a kit full of stuff. But when it comes down to the very, very basics, there's 5 items that I don't leave the house without. All right, so we're gonna walk in here a ways to one of my favorite spots and cook up some lunch, and we'll talk a little bit about an acronym I created, the B.A.S.I.C of survival. So while my lunch finishes cooking here, I want to talk to you about what I came up with for the B.A.S.I.C of survival. It's an acronym standing for Blade, Aid, Shelter, Ignition, and Calories. You might be familiar with Dave Canterbury's 5 C's of survivability, which are cutting tool, cordage, container, combustion, and cover. And while I agree with 3 of those, there's 2 that I'd rather have in place. So again, the B in B.A.S.I.C being blade. I don't generally leave home without at least a pocket knife on me, but generally if I'm going out for a day hiking for whatever reason, I would have a fixed blade knife with me, something that's full tang, something that you can beat on, something that you can use to create other things like shelter, things that you can use to cut down wood into sizes that you can easily burn, something that you could defend yourself with as well. So again, I don't leave the house without B, a blade. A standing for aid. Again, first aid is very, very important. These little kits, this little ultralight medical kit from Adventure Medical Kits is something that I carry with me every day. You can add things to it. It's got a zipper up top, which is nice, and then it's got a waterproof bag inside, so it stays waterproof. They're really durable, very small. I could even carry this in my cargo pocket. Remember, it doesn't have to be a full-blown kit. You could just have a few band-aids in your wallet, for example, but I think first aid is definitely something that's very important and something that falls into my basic list. S standing for shelter. Again, this is just a small 5x7 tarp. I've got one in my day hike kit. I've got one in my get home bag. I've of course got one in my bug out bag, but again, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be a Mylar blanket, for example, or a rain poncho, something to keep you sheltered from those elements, something to warm you up in case you got stuck out, to avoid hypothermia. Another thing that I always have as part of the shelter is cordage. I can make stakes out in the woods. I can, find things to tie this tarp up to, but I do carry cordage as part of my shelter. I standing for ignition. Again, I don't leave home without a lighter. That's going to get me by in 99% of the cases if I needed to start a fire. I always have a backup ferro rod in my kit or attached to my blade, and then you could lump tinder in with that as well. I've just got some cotton and Vaseline here. Any sort of form of tinder will work well to get you that fire started in a hurry. So I stands for ignition as part of the basic survival. Again, somebody else wants lunch. So let's talk about that. Calories, that's the C in basic. I always have at least a granola bar, maybe some beef jerky, something on me to give me that extra boost of energy. I think it's more important to have that than it is water. I think shelter is also more important than water. So calories will keep you going. I generally will always have some form of lunch. Today I have chicken vindaloo. It's a curry chicken, which is going to be fantastic. Also in my get home bags or my bobs, I have rations or MREs along with little snacks like this. So C stands for calories, important in the basic of survival. Go ahead and taste this curry, this chicken vindaloo. I got my long spoon today. Comes in handy with those freeze-dried or dehydrated meals. Slamming. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of that, rest of my hot chocolate, and we'll wrap it up. So what do you guys think about BASIC? I think it's a pretty good acronym, something that's very easy to remember. Blade, aid, shelter, ignition, and calories. It's something that I don't leave home without anymore. There's been too many times where I've been hungry, not necessarily thirsty, but just hungry, wanted some extra energy to pull through a hike, and that would certainly compound itself greatly if you were in a survival situation. There's been a ton of times when I've needed just something as simple as a band-aid to stop a little sliver cut from bleeding and ruining my day. So blade, aid, shelter, ignition, and combustion, very important parts of gear as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Again, it could be something that you could slip down in your cargo pocket, a folding knife, a couple of band-aids, a survival or Mylar, Mylar blanket, a lighter, and something as simple as our granola bar would cover the basic set of gear. Redundancy is often a good idea, so as far as blades go, having a blade, a multi-tool, or a saw is a good idea. Having a larger first aid kit is certainly a good idea. Having several ways to provide shelter with a tarp, with cordage, with a rain poncho, always a good idea. Several sources of ignition, so a lighter, tinder, maybe a ferrocerium rod, and then of course calories, food. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today and help spread the word about having the basic of survival. Please give this video a big thumbs up for me. Make sure you leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Please share this video to your friends and family on your social media. And as always, click that red subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. Could always add an S onto the end of it for slamming.